I'm at a place right now where I'm kind of disturbing people while I talk. So I asked them if it would be all right if I did a video. And they said, oh, yes. I said, well, because I talk to myself. That's what my video is, because they're talking someplace else. And then I realized that's what the video is about. I am actually talking to myself. I'm talking to myself as object. That's the entire point. There's two aspects. There's a subject and an object. It's the same in grammar. The subject of the verb and the object. In Judaism, in the Talmudic understanding, that's the two levels of hefsa and gavra, of object and subject, of subject being person. So it's person and object. And then the whole thing is, for me, I found out a beautiful thing yesterday from the Greek myths, the energy of a word, of a personification of a Greek term, Eleos. Eleos means mercy. Mercy. But it's not a god, nor a goddess. It's a figure of a personification. It's depicted as mercy. It's not a person. It's mercy, the concept of mercy. And then you have an altar there in Athens for the concept of Eleos. And then I'm putting it together because that's my whole point here about the Rachem, about the womb, about mercy as being the fundamental principle. And it's an object. It's a hefsa. It's not part of a gavra. And then I'm putting this more together, and then I get to the Nazir. The Nazir is not a gavra. It's a hefsa. He takes a neder, which is a vow on three little things. No grapes, no haircut, and no being with the dead. This is three neders. Those are objects. Neder is a hefsa. And by taking these three neders, you become a Nazir. That Nazir is not, you're not taking Shavuos for a Nazir, you're taking neders. And what do we have here? We have here the concept in the tractates, in the Mishnahs of Nasim, of women. And where does the whole Mishnah of Neder, of Nazir come from? It's between Nederim, then comes Nazir, and then comes Sota. They put it right in the middle of the woman's Mishnah. Well, what does it do with women? Because most Nazirs are men. It's because it has to do with mercy. It has to do with the concept of mercy. And it's brought down through Greece, through Eleos. Because there's a shrine in Athens for Eleos. And what happens in this shrine? When you make supplication to Eleos, who knows this? Who knows this? Speak out if you know this. Do you know what you do at the shrine of Eleos? You cut your hair and you hang it up You cut your hair. It's a hair offering. And then the second thing that you do at the shrine of Eleos is if for some reason Eleos takes care of the dead. And this taking care of the dead is no different than the Nazir walking with the Kohen and stumbling upon a mitzvah of a dead body that nobody's taking care of, like Eleos didn't. Eleos is the same thing, buries the people that nobody will bury. And so the Nazir supersedes the Kohen and takes care of the dead. So at this shrine for Eleos, which is not a goddess or a god, but a personification, a quality. A quality is a hefsa. It's not a gavra. So this quality is a sought-after quality. This picture is depicted as a woman in a blue veil. It's like the Christian Mary in a veil, in blue that I sent to this woman. It's depicting a woman in a veil, which very well could be part of the thread of blue of the tzitzis. Okay? The other thing about this is that it's a kind of like, it's a woman, it's kind of like a sota. So this is part of this now. For me, let me just see what I had here. These are called entities. Entities are qualities, you see. And this is what I think now. Here I'm going to get to a deeper level here. It's a quality. It's an entity. And now I'm getting to a deeper level into Nazir, because Nazir, remember, in Olam Haba, or when Mashiach comes, or in the future, the name Yud Hey Vav Hey will not be used. It'll be Yud Hey Yud Hey. Now this is Talmudic, and it's, as I've said here before, it's the only gematria that's used in the Talmud. It's the only halakha that goes by gematria in the entire spectrum of Judaism. And this 30 happens to be the letter Lamed, which goes the only letter above the line. And the idea of 30 as the month, and it also has to do with the Zelem, because a lot of this has come to me because I am now interested in the Zelem for myself. First of all, Zelem in itself is 160, and that's the gematria of Kayin, which is my seed. And the full gematria of Zelem is 358, which is the same gematria as Nahash, and the same gematria as Mashiach. And in the Zelem, which is also part of the name Zalal Ponit, which is not given in the Bible or in the Tanakh, but is given in the Talmud as the name of the mother of Shimshon. Shimshon became a Nazir from the womb. Was in the womb. He didn't take an oath afterwards. And Zazal Ponit Zal Panit, is the first part is Zion, Zedek, Lamed. And so they say there were two visitations in the Talmud. It says, let me see if I have it's in Baba Basra. It says that there were two visitations on Zal Ponit while she was in the room, one when she was in the field and one when she was in the town. And those are the two Lameds. There were two visitations from the same angel to make Shimshon into a Nazir in the womb, which is the concept of Rachum and Rachem and mercy from Eleos, the personification. And these two Lameds come from the word Zal, two shadows, and they relate to Zel and Zelem itself, which is also this concept of 30, because the 30 days the Zelem leaves before the death. So the Zelem has to do with 30, and this two Lameds in Zel Ponit, and now the other thing is in Tractate Nazir, you have very often you say, what happens if a Nazir takes two oaths back to back, the 30 days and then the 60 days, and when does the 30-day end and the 60-day end? And this has relationships to the two Lameds in the name of Shimshon's mother. And so here's now it in, because this whole idea of the 30 has to do with the Nazir. And this Yud Hey is not a, what do you call it? Yud Hey is not a person. Yud Hey means will be. It's a personification. It's an object. It's a verb. We're going to have a verb as the highest level above Yud Hey Vav Hey. Yud Hey Vav Hey is a concept of God, but Yud Hey is a verb, and that's what it is. And in my opinion, it's Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Yiyeh Echad. Yiyeh is a verb. It will be one. It will be. It has nothing to do with it's maybe a personification, or some of these words. Let me use some of these words. Through an anthropomorphic metaphor, and so all this is like, so here will be, it's an entity. Yud Hey Vav Hey is an, Yud Hey is an entity. It's not a person. It's not a Gavra. It's a Hefsa. And so when a person becomes a Nazir, he becomes a Hefsa. He loses his sense of Gavra. I've explicated this before as the level of that they take three hefses and you become a Gavra. No, you drop the Gavra. You drop the Gavra. The Gavra is dead. The Gavra is that dead person. And that's why the Nazir has nothing to do with the dead. Because once he becomes a Nazir, he loses his status as a Gavra. He has nothing to do with the dead body. And so all this comes from, by the way, Eleos, the Greek personification. And Clementine in Roman, but the real thing is Eleos. And there's these pictures of Eleos. And it's personified as a woman, because that's mercy. And that's why Rachum is a woman. Rachem is a womb. And so this all comes into Rachum v'Hanun. And it all comes into Rachem. And that's what the whole thing is. The whole thing is this.
I'm going smoking. You can open it for me?
Sure.
Okay.
So the whole thing is this. For me, it's actually explicated. It's actually explicated in the letter, as I did yesterday. And this is, just seeing it. It's actually explicated in the letter Het. Het is the object to me, and He is the subject. I know it's brought down as Ha, but it's the subject of a person. The letter He. You see, but for me the object is a Het. You see, and the letter Het of the level of infinity of 8. 5 is physical. 6 is physical, rather. The Vav. Well, that's what the head is made out of. The head is made out of a Vav on the right, the physical, a Zion on the left, the spiritual, and then that little crown on it, which is not much different than the Nazi's crown. The object, so that's a Het. The 7 and 8 makes an 8. When that left leg is broken by a bris, by the 3 aspects of the bris, about the Mila, the Pariah, and the Motzitza Hadam, that Het is made into a He. And that He becomes the subject. And that's why I feel that Rav Racham was given a Het first. He was given a Het, and then that left leg is cut and into the subject of a He. And so he was really Av Rachem. And then the three things eventually come on in potentia, even if he only received a Mila at this time, until we have further deliverance into after Sinai into Perea. But the point is, in potentia this all is. That's why in potentia Avram was given the Het to Avraham, which was then cut into Avraham. That Avraham, as I've said now, is 248. And the whole thing is 248 is the gematria of Rahem, of womb. And the whole thing here is mercy. And the attribute of Eleos, a practically unknown quality in the Greek myths. There's no goddess Eleos. There's no god Eleos. It's a personification of a thing, of mercy. And that's the root of Judaism. It's the root of Judaism. I have a way to spell Zalal phonete. If you spell it with a Zadi, without the kuf. So it's one way to spell Zadik. Zadik is to Zadi's Zion Dalad Yud. That's 104 rather than with a kuf, 204. If that's the case, then it comes out to be 999, which is El Shaddai. And so this whole person, which I find very almost unbelievable, how deep the Talmud is here, where the Talmud gives the name of Shimshon's mother, and gives other names here too, gives his sister. See? The names that aren't even in the Bible. So who gets to that? Who gets to the name of Shimshon's mother? It's left unknown. So how can a person attain this level of understanding of the word Rachem and mercy if you don't understand Shimshon, because that's the goal of the Jewish people, to be a Shimshon Nazir. And even in the regular Nazir, when you take a look and you say, I will be. You don't say, I'll be that person. I don't want to be a fisherman. I'll be. I look at him as an object. I take this thing as an object. And the whole idea is to be an object to Hashem. To have no sense of self. To turn the ani into an ayin. Isn't that it? And when you do it by mercy, you have mercy on every person that ever existed. Which is part of this whole idea of the color blue. The blue of the zimzum, of the tzitzis.